Wrench Nation Car Talk. Call or text your questions now. 480-655-8870 with your hosts, Frank and Steve.
Hey, it's Wednesday. Frank and Steve. Wrench Nation is back. Hello, Frank.
What is happening? What are you doing? You got a yellow shirt on, man.
I do have my Pac-Man shirt on.
What, is there significance behind the yellow and the Pac-Man?
Well, Wednesday's Way Back Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
So I always like the way back. And, coming in with the spirit this morning, I want the Pac-Man shirt on. I actually got this from the New Jersey Lottery.
Oh.
Back in 2005, I decided to buy a Pac-Man or Ms. Pac-Man video game, like a stand-up for my house.
Right.
So I went on eBay and I found a guy who won one on the New Jersey Lottery, and he sold it to me.
Right.
For $1,600. I got taken.
Yeah, you did, man.
And
what was that? Wait. Was that like Craigslist back then? Where did you find it? Would you just?
It was on eBay.
Oh, eBay.
It was on eBay.
Well, eBay could be.
It
just
was on
as bad.
eBay. Yeah. So anyway, I got the shirt with the game.
Right.
And then a few years later, I sold the thing for $500 and lost my butt on it. But hey,
no. But
that's just the way it is.
I tell you, when I think about Pac-Man, man,
Yep.
it's like a classic muscle car. Just won't go away. You put a little couple bucks in there, you get a nice hot rod. Pac-Man won't go away. Just like a good muscle car.
I was the Ms. Pac-Man champion of my hometown in 1984 in Minot, North Dakota.
Oh.
687,000 points.
What?
But he's not like Pac-Man. It's Ms. Pac-Man.
That's crazy, man.
It's kind of like the wimpy one.
Oh.
No.
Who was Mr.?
Mr. Pac-Man? I don't know.
That was in North Dakota.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
On today's show, we got a jam-packed show. We got a bunch of goodness going on. Today's show topic right out of the gate, man, I've had a lot of calls at the garage over the years. Some people swear by it. Mystery oil, mystery fluids, mechanic in a bottle. I pour stuff in the gas tank, I pop wheelies. I pour stuff in the engine oil.
Oh, sure.
I pop wheelies.
Well, interesting
we're going to dive into this topic, man.
Because I mentioned this morning on the news, the latest story is this super unleaded gasoline never has done anything for your car.
Yeah.
And I knew that 40 years ago when I was a little kid. I'm like, I'm not paying 10 cents more a gallon for that crap.
Right.
And now it's finally come out 40 years after they started making it that it does nothing for your car.
Well, there's some reports. We're going to get to the reports. We talked to the scientists of the side of the reports,
ones.
and we got
Those
some
are the
data.
important
But
ones.
we're going to cover those mystery mechanic in a bottle.
Right.
Does this stuff work? Really, we're going to put an emphasis because there's a big category of folks out there. You guys listening, you may have bought some of this stuff in a bottle, put it in your gas tank, and feel like the world is a safer place with your car. We're going to dive into that. We're also going to dive into some of those additives.
I've used some of those things.
That are used.
You know me, I'm guilty of all that because I'm guilty of try to find the cheapest way to make it happen. I did that all my life.
No, man.
I can't tell you how many times my radiator was leaking.
Pac-Man wouldn't. Pac-Man people they're not cheap. Pac-Man people are not cheap.
I was cheap. I worked in radio all my life. I had to be cheap. What do you expect?
We're gonna cover a lot of these items. We got a jam-packed show. We do have some special guests. We're gonna get some introduction segment too. But Steve, I got to tell you, the shop we're excited. Guess what this time of year is? I mean, there's a lot of things going on.
Well, it's getting below 100.
Well,
so that's good.
It's still hotter than
so
a mug.
So it's fall,
but this is the transitional time of year.
Okay.
Where a lot of folks are saying, you know what? I want to get my hot rod ready for the fall. I want to look at my hot rod. I want to check my brakes.
This is when they take
fluids.
the classic cars out of the garage.
Because come October, we're ready for some car shows. We're ready to cruise. And so what we get to see is some exotics that come in the garage. And today we had a 71 Vet.
Oh, that's the year that I was born.
Wait a minute. I hit the boing. We got to hit in the wind
there.
We had a 71 Vet dropped off, and essentially classic transitional kind of client that comes in and says, hey, I'm getting ready for car's in good shape.
Right.
I just want to make sure it's ready to go. So we're excited in the garage. A little bit of, it's like eating pork chops every night. Once in a while, we want to pull out a hot dog, something a little different.
Let me ask you about a car that old.
All right.
Can I hook up the same computer to that car that I can to today's cars?
Well, some of these classic cars, and we do have a special guest in studio. We're going to dive into that a little bit. We can certainly talk about that. Absolutely. You can take an old classic car and give it modern technology, and improving on horsepower.
Right.
So, yeah, and what you're talking about is a data link connector.
Right, exactly. I mean, I don't have the
communicate?
USB plug that I probably have on my 2016.
Right. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, anything's possible. When you got a couple of bucks in your pocket, anything is possible. And you can do them not totally over the top expensive, but there are a lot of great performance kits out there so that you can communicate regarding air fuel management and and fuel trim for horsepower, gas mileage. You know, there may be a weekend where you want to go fast and you can change the fuel trim on a 68.
Is it harder to find parts for those classic cars?
It can be.
Yeah?
Yeah, but it depends. Actually, it's not quite as hard as you think.
Really?
There's a huge market.
Depends on what you need.
Now, if I'm in Europe, if I'm in England,
Right.
if I'm, if I got some oddball classic European, although I have to say that market is somewhat robust too. You just gotta the internet.
What's the most
The
rare?
internet.
Of course, the internet has made it a lot easier. And
Yes.
I watch American Pickers, and they're picking pieces of cars and motorcycles all the time.
Right.
But what's the most rare classic car that's ever come into your shop?
Rare. God, we had like a 52 Cadillac. I don't think so much rare
Right.
as I think of condition.
Okay.
We get a motley crew of cars that come in. Some folks had thought they bought a great classic, and
Sure.
it really wasn't. But when I think of condition, more so than, age
Right.
or from an eclectic point of view, I've had Rolls Royces in, 23 C cabs and T buckets that come in for little stuff. But we're probably gonna have we got to have a classic car show dedicated to
Right.
the classic car. Today's show, we got to catch up though. We got some shout outs.
You want
You
to
gotta get
Yeah.
the shout music going.
We got several shout outs.
You shout out, I'll dance.
We always talk about on Wrench Nation the Car Care Council nationally, carcare.org, people. If you lost your owner's manual, you're not sure about what your car really needs, carcare.org is your resource. This is a nonprofit group. They're national. If you're listening in Virginia or California, they don't care. They want to help. So
I'm telling you, I'm at
carcare.org.
5,200 miles on my new truck. It's time to
Yes.
get in that manual because I know something's coming up.
Something's coming up, and so that's a great resource. And I got to lower the music because this is really special for my Prescott peoples. This is the time of year now. Listen, they started early because Prescott's nice and cool.
Sure.
For those of you listening elsewhere outside Arizona, Prescott is a cooler place. It's in higher country, and it's actually a wonderful
It's actually
place.
a mile high like Denver.
It is.
But we are further south,
Exactly.
so it's a little warmer.
So we've got, Louis Gomez has kept us posted. Louis Gomez with Prescott Auto
we talked
Body
to him a
and
couple
Tire.
times, yeah.
He's got an event Friday between 9 and 3 p.m. If you're in the market for tires, he's got a deal on tires out there.
I love
but,
Prescott.
Louis is a family community kind of guy. It's more than just hot dogs, hamburgers, and
Did you do the Wounded Warriors stuff?
and we're going to find out about that because I believe he's doing that reveal. In fact, he is pioneering the 10th annual historic Prescott Corvette show.
Ooh.
So if you guys want to go up to Prescott, visit with Louis. He's got the Corvette show.
Always
they do
been
an
my
awesome
favorite
job.
sports
Prescott
car.
is that kind of place. You go
Yes.
visit, you get into the eclectic, the antiquities, and Louis Gomez of Prescott Auto is up there.
Go to Whiskey Row.
He's on Iron Springs. And I got one more shout out. We had Patrice Banks with the Girls Auto Clinic. Patrice was an engineer for DuPont, and she is out of South Philly. And she said, literally her story was, I'm done dealing with mechanics. I feel like I'm just getting ripped off all the time. So she jumped in. She learned how to wrench. She's ongoing training.
Right.
We all do. We go through the ongoing training. But she is finally, in October, she is launching her own automotive garage. This is really cool, people. Because
Here in the valley?
No, out
Nowhere.
of South Philly, Upper Darby. I want to give a clap for an applause for Patrice Banks. And I got to tell
Congratulations, Patrice.
Patrice, if you're listening, you rock. But that's October. And dig
Yeah.
this. She's going to have for the ladies, she's going to have like a salon. She's got the Soul Clutch Beauty Bar. Now, some of
Wow.
our big dealerships out here, they have the big, you can go in and get your nails done.
Sure,
I think the guys
think
need
that's
something.
awesome. Because, the guys,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? Bringing sports clips into the shop?
Well, I don't know. We can come up with some ideas. But right now,
So
there we
is
go.
some-
Little shaving. Little shaving
cigar
action.
bar.
There you go. Cigars, whatever. Blackjack table. That's all we can say right now to keep it clean, people. But Patrice Banks, kudos to you. We're going to follow your progress. And certainly, if you want to catch Patrice, Girls Auto Clinic.
Just put on Bar Rescue for me, and I'll just get back
you guys.
on the couch, and I'll be
The other
happy.
thing, too, is we want to give buku gratitude. I think this is show number 30.5.
Wow.
We've been doing it for a while.
We keep
Let's say-
rolling.
And we're just so grateful to all of our listeners locally. We got a ton of podcast people that listen at their leisure.
And
we
please
wanna,
do.
We want to really give kudos to all of you guys listening. We are grateful.
And remember, we want you to join the Wrench Posse so we can inform you about all the things coming up and all the things that our car and things that are going to happen with the show. make sure you text the word wrench. And by the way, somebody thought this morning when you were on, they texted the word ranch.
I know.
It's like Wrench Nation.
It's a salad show. Salad show.
WRENCH.
It happens.
Text the word wrench to 480-655-8870. We give a $100 gift card to
Cabela's.
somewhere every day at the end of the show. Every week we do that. Make sure you text 480-655-8870. The word wrench, not ranch.
Ranch. Come on, people.
Wrench.
You can do it. Right. So listen, we had some local. We were in some local. When local news goes national regarding vehicles, we got to mention it on Wrench Nation. And as you guys know, we were talking about this in the past, that we've got these self-driving vehicles being tested. Google and their Lexus platforms, their crossovers, their sport utilities are out here doing their thing, testing high heat and dry situations. So as they should be. Sometimes I wonder, are they really testing in Arizona? Are engineers coming? Well, they are currently, and they've had a few crashes this week. They were hit 3 times in Chandler last month. One, there's always a drunk driver involved, Steve. You know, there's always somebody like Tesla. Tesla had some.
You know, I'll tell you something.
They were trying to throw Tesla under the bus. And the fact was the guy was drunk going 100 miles an hour and hit a wall. That's not Elon Musk's problem.
What they got Uber for? Stop that, people.
Yeah. What? Uber?
You're Uber, so you don't have to drive drunk.
Right.
My home state of North Dakota is horrible like that. Those people drive drunk every day. My cousin got a DUI the other day. I said, well, it's about time.
Now, which is really interesting about this news report, Steve.
What?
I don't know, because the local news has covered it. ABC 15 and Channel 3, our AZ family folks over there. What's really interesting is that Google's report, remember, everything is registered.
And this is what the automatic car, the auto drive car thing.
Google's, as quoted by AZ Central,
I don't like
Google's vehicle is providing data that conflicts with the police report in another case. It's conflicting. That's an interesting concept. We'll do another thing.
Who do you believe, a person or?
Well, we talked about that on one of our self-drive, but that's the news. If you see one of these vehicles, don't get scared. Embrace them, because they're probably scared themselves driving those things at times. Say, hey, you're doing a good job.
By the way, we talked about what you got to put in your shop in order for guys to like it. Somebody said that up in Scottsdale at the Harley, they have a wedding chapel.
All right.
And they have a tattoo parlor inside the Harley Davidson in Scottsdale.
I think that's an applause right there. Whoa.
Very cool. So you can get married and have a tattoo.
Whoa, I love this concept, man. This is awesome.
All right, Wrench Nation continues next. 480-655-8870 is the number. Text the word wrench to 480.
Wrench Nation Car Talk on 88.7 The Pulse.
Yes, it is Wrench Nation. Steve and Frank, 480-655-8870. Any question you might have about your car, about selling your car, any noise you may be hearing, of course, Frank, always here at 480-655-8870. Also, Wrench Nation on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. We thank you guys for hanging on Facebook. Twitter 24/7 somewhat.
I have a question from a listener off the text line.
Go ahead.
Heather at 480-655-8870 texted in. She wants to know more information about these self-driving cars. Is this something we're seeing a lot yet, or is this going to be a while?
No, it's coming sooner than a lot of people didn't realize. I mean, just 2-3 years ago, we said, it's going to be 10, 15 years.
Right.
You know, for the most part, if we're testing in the desert, that's sort of the end stage, with 1 million miles that Google's already got proven.
For all those years, we had all those testing sites here, GM for all the years.
Right.
So testing in the desert, it's
I will
certainly
tell
the place
you
they do it.
That we are talking about within the next 5 years for sure.
I don't like it.
It's coming out where it'll start off conservative, right?
Yeah.
And, so Heather, it's coming. So if you get a self-driving car, just stop by and say
My
hello.
mother is 72 years old.
Whoa, Daddy.
Yeah, and she says the other day,
all right,
she's like, we're trying to get her not to drive anymore because her eyes aren't what they used to be. Okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
And she's fighting against it. And she's like, well, you and your brother are going to have to come over and take me here and take me there.
Right.
And we start talking about the self-driving car. And how it could pick her up. She could call Uber. My brother's like, what about the self-driving car? But I don't want to give up that control, Frank.
I know. We talked about
love
this.
driving.
Yeah. Well, listen, I want to, we're talking about the additives. There's a lot of controversy.
Sure.
Some people swear by the additives, whether it be additive in your engine oil, additive for the fuel.
Radiator.
We're gonna dive in. But I want to tease the folks before we got some guests in studio. We always get excited when we have some special rock stars that come by and pay a visit. But I want to just tease you guys out there. There was a company, Federal Trade Commission does keep us safe, right? Whether it's a car seat, baby stuff, they get out their FTC and say, hey, this product's not made that great.
Sure.
But there was a company out of Nevada, I don't know if you guys remember, but the Greenfoot Global, they were accused of selling those Enviro tabs. These little tabs is going to save you lots of money with your fuel. And they claimed that it would dramatically improve your fuel mileage. That was one of the biggest cases nationally was brought to attention. The reality that the product was pretty much worthless, and they did settle out of court. It was about $800,000 settlement. So I would just start by saying, people, if you're listening and you have your choice flavor of additive that you just believe in, do the research. We're a small show. I try to do the research for you guys. I try to bring into as far as that research is concerned, my little 27 years of the thousands of vehicles that we've serviced in the garage and give you that practicality. So $800,000 settled by that Enviro tabs. It sounds like a diet pill or something, Enviro tabs.
I could use a diet pill.
Yeah. So you guys remember you can text or call 480-855.
655.
There we go.
8870-480-655-8870. I do have another text, but first let's bring our guest in.
Yeah, so we got to give a round of applause, a big applause here. We've got Steve Rosansky, a local rock star in the automotive community with Friendly Auto Centers. Hello, Mr. Steve.
Hello, Frank. How are you?
And we need Steve on more often. He just said 3 words.
Baby. He's got the Barry White voice.
He's coming on the morning show. No. But Steve runs Friendly Auto Service Centers. And Steve, tell us, because back east you had, was it one company or several?
We had one shop. We were there for 21 years in Baldwin, Long Island.
Right.
And I was on a radio show. I had a radio show just
I
not
know.
as magnificent as yours.
No,
but,
10
we
years.
were on the air, me
10
and Todd
years,
Reynolds.
man.
We only hope to live as long as your show did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I was also the auto answer man for News 12, Long Island.
That's amazing.
So I had a lot of fun.
Frank does that for TV stations here in
We
the
do
Valley.
some local TV stuff, yeah.
And we're both from the Bronx.
I know.
sort of.
This is a New York flavor kind of show.
Oh.
I want all my New Yorker listeners to text or call in right now, because this is a packed house.
I'm the ugly North Dakota stepchild.
But that's okay. That's okay. We're
Don't
having
call,
fun.
send bagels.
So, Steve, tell us about Friendly Auto Centers. What's your cross street? Let's get an address out
We're
there.
located on Main and Higley. We're just off about, a stone's throw west of Higley on the north side of Maine.
I know where it is. Yep.
We moved out here, me and my wife and family. We moved out here 3.5 years ago.
Nice.
And fell in love with Arizona.
Nice.
And I decided it's time to open up a shop out here. I'm crazy enough to do this again.
A lot of us, actually, just business in general.
I can't get it out of my blood, Frank.
I know you
can't.
can.
It's-
I think we talked about this, and you leave for a minute.
Right.
You leave what you did for so many years. I'm going to try this. And you say, no, I'm coming back to my passion. Steve's very passionate. Steve does a lot of great things in the community. And Steve, I got to ask you this question. We do have the topic of mechanic in a bottle. We're going to dive into that in a minute. But just sort of a business question. Transitioning for many from New York to Arizona as business is concerned, how was that? Was it smooth for you? Did Arizona embrace you?
At first, no.
Okay.
It was a little hard because
Why?
we talk a little fast.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
And we want it 10 minutes ago, and you're supposed to know what I'm saying before you say it.
Right.
Are we a little
Okay.
more laid back out here?
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Just a
Okay,
bit.
it's still
yeah.
the Wild West out here. I remember one of my first days when a lady couldn't find a credit card, and
Right.
out came her wallet, her pistol, and I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't have this in New
Conceal
York.
and carry. There you go.
Yeah. But I was lucky enough to find 2 great part suppliers that I'm real happy with, and
Nice.
they have been real important part of my business. Your part suppliers
Your
are
partner,
your partner.
absolutely.
It really
Yeah.
is important to have
Yeah.
that relationship, and I'm really happy to have done that.
One more question before we got another gentleman in studio. God, we got 2 rock stars in here. But let me ask you about repairs from back east. If I'm coming here from back east with a back east vehicle, are there any major differences that you're seeing mechanically? Like back east, maybe exhaust systems were low because the oxidation and rust. What do you see the biggest difference in repair factors out here than back east?
Well, 2 things. First, in New York, we're trained to deal with rust. That was about
Right.
40% of our business
Sure.
was rust and corrosion.
Wow.
We have the salt
We don't-
from the
yeah.
winter, and
Right.
I was on Long Island. We're surrounded by salt water,
Right.
so it was very,
Right.
very bad dealing with that. So we were very used to it, and we had 9 lifts, and each lift had its own torch. Out here,
No.
We don't do any
No.
mufflers. You can't even buy a muffler at the parts store. You have to special order it for a
Right,
car.
we don't do exhaust Audi. We're spoiled, with the oxidation and rust.
Right,
and
sure.
We don't see. In fact, my guys, I got to give them a sabbatical. They get a car in once in a while that's got rust. I gotta give them a vacation.
They're like, what is this?
They're spoiled, man.
We
don't
get the
rust.
SOS pad out.
Right. So, Steve Rosansky with Friendly Auto. We're going to chime in a minute with the mechanic in a bottle, and we definitely got another round of applause. We have Mr. Ralph G. Ralph is happening at local Chandler, Gilbert, East Valley. I'm not going to use celebrity, but you are a connector out here, man. And, of course, Ralph and I, in fact, Steve as well, is a part of the Chandler Chamber.
Okay.
One of the most powerful chambers in the country when it comes to community work and things like that. We're going to get to the car stuff in a minute, but Ralph, tell us about the goodness you got with all these car shows.
Hi, Frank. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on. And, I have a couple of passions in life besides my job and my wife.
Sure.
And that would be cars and animals. So,
Oh.
yes, very much so. So I do a car show every year that's a full benefit. All the benefit goes to Lost Our Home Pet Rescue. Every
Wow.
dollar we make goes to them. And I've been doing it now. This will be my 4th year coming up.
And you've
Now
got
he's
one.
getting to me because my 2 kids are dogs.
Yeah.
Kazo and Delilah's are my pizzuppies.
That's Steve's posse
My
right
my
there,
boxer
yeah.
pit bull and my Belgian
Right.
Malinois. I love them.
So you have one coming up, and of course we're going to pronounce that as we get
Yeah, it's
closer to
November.
the date. It's in
Yeah.
November, right? All right, great. What's the name of the car show?
It's custom cars for canines and cats.
Okay.
All with
I was
cage.
just checking this out on Facebook today.
Oh, excellent.
November 5th, right?
Yes, November 5th.
And where's
So
it
if
going to be?
It's going to be in downtown Ocotillo.
Okay.
Nice. So if you're listening, East Valley based, of course, we do have events north. Well, gosh, we did the Grand Concours Elegance.
We'll
up
be
in
there
Fountain
in
Hills.
February, yeah.
Yeah, but you guys got to check that out. Of course, we'll give some more announcement, but let's get into the meat and potatoes. People want to know.
Ooh, I love
meat and potatoes.
Mashed
and-
potatoes, too.
And Steve and, of course, Ralph will chime in on this topic. And, it's a pretty passionate topic. I've had folks come in the garage and, Frank, stop it. I use my Valvoline fuel additive, and my car runs extremely well.
Okay.
Now,
is that true? Or
I-
is it just a mental thing that because I put it in there, I think it runs better?
Listen, yeah, well, we're all, see, now in studio, you guys, Steve and Ralph are kind of, yep, that's
Right.
it. I'm just going to say this.
Right.
Let's just get to it, man. We've been branded as a society. Like, I buy soap, a certain brand of soap.
Sure.
My wife, right?
Yeah,
you got
absolutely.
your wife says, no, I ain't using that. And you say, no, it's good. It's medicinal. It's got all this stuff.
Medicinal.
It smells nice.
Whatever. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Are you talking
So,
about soap
some
or
of this
marijuana?
Is we've been branded. There's no doubt about that. But specifically, I think when we're talking about in-tank additives, and Steve, give me your thoughts on this, because top-tier fuel has been around for about 10 years. Isn't that the best way to go short-term, is to really get yourself some good top-tier fuel?
I 100% believe in top-tier fuel. We have had many instances where we had fuel contamination, drivability issues based on buying at some of these wholesale clubs because they don't spend the money and clean their tanks. They don't take proper care of their equipment, changing the filters on the pumps. And if you spend the money for, brands like Valero and Shell, I don't know if I can say that, but I don't
Sure, you can. Sure, yeah.
Those, you're
They're not paying us, we
You're
can say it.
spending a few dollars more, but
Yeah.
you're getting much more, and you won't need those additives.
Okay, so
Now-
I'm gonna ask you that because
ahead.
that you say Valero and Shell. I'm seeing that in the valley here. Chevron's the most expensive.
Chevron is another one. They have Techron. Techron's been around
Yeah.
since the 80s.
I'm seeing that to be 20 cents more a gallon, pretty much, than I would buy at the Fry's food store over here.
Exactly. But what happens is people go for the cheap gas, and then they'll spend $10 for a bottle of that, when if they had just used a top-tier fuel to begin with, they wouldn't have had to spend that. So you're saving a few dollars here, but spending it more. Now, those fuel additives are there just like vitamins, there to support a healthy
Right.
heart. It's not going to cure your heart disease. It's going to support your healthy heart. So
Right.
if you do not have a healthy fuel system to begin with, the majority, the dozens of miracle cure fuel additives are going to do nothing except go out the tailpipe.
Well, just on the news this morning, Frank and Steve and Ralph, it was the report about the super unleaded gas and the fact that, and I said it earlier in the show. Come on, Frank, have you recommended that people
Well,
use these higher?
At this point, I will tell you, based upon AAA studies, AAA
Yes.
does some really valid studies.
Right.
What I have found is that there is a reduction, not major. Now, we got to talk about fuel injection systems. We need to understand that there are various fuel injection systems. There's multi-port, there's tune port, there is direct injection, and we're going to get to that because direct injection is a culprit, is a problem.
Really?
But let's get back to top tier,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
folks don't think that top tier is just some other branded experience.
Right.
Think about the crude triangle, right? You've got
Okay.
all the nasty, developed oil on the bottom, and as that sucker goes
Arco.
up, it's more refined. And so top tier is essentially an additive. In 2004, they went beyond the minimum standard for detergent additives to better protect increasingly sophisticated engines. What does that mean? Well, we wanted more gas mileage.
Right.
We wanted more power, so these engines are tighter tolerances, and so on and so forth.
But all this gas is coming from the same refinery. It's just the additives that are put in when it gets to the station, right?
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the
There
big
are-
difference.
There are
Yeah.
specific blends that, Mobil and Amoco and Shell, everybody has their
Right.
specific blends. The raw product, the raw regular unleaded gasoline is in one tank, but then they're loaded and then certain
Yes.
additives are added.
Sure.
I want to get back to the fuel additives, though.
Right.
I'm not saying all of them are bad.
Right.
Out of the dozens that are out there, there's 2 or 3 that I can honestly say I've been using. There's one particular brand I've used for almost 30 years. It's
Right.
the only one that I've actually seen make a difference.
Tell
the
us what
only
it
one
is.
I sell.
Yeah, give us a
And
brand. It's all
Justice
good.
Brothers. They've
Justice
been around
Brothers,
for
yeah.
years.
Okay.
And I can use their product in a customer's car, and I have solved or even helped to diagnose certain drivability problems.
Wow.
But it's not $5. You're
Right.
going to spend $20 for a bottle of this.
Right, and real
but
quick,
it will work.
because we're going to get Ralph in on. Actually, I'm just going to Ralph on. So you've been in the classic car market for some time. Are you using any additives in the fuel to help? I mean,
Rarely.
okay,
So I have found. So I've been a car guy my whole life,
sure,
and if you take care of the car, changing the oil, all those maintenance things,
right,
that goes way beyond anything you can do with an additive. Now I have had instances where I throw a little STP fuel system cleaner in there, and
Okay.
it might clean it up a little bit and
Yeah.
let it run a little smoother. But I've also found that maybe if you just take it out on the freeway and open it up
blow
a
it
little
out.
bit.
Yeah, years ago we used to do the water in carburetor. Of course, we don't do to blow it out. We called that, unfortunately, that was granny syndrome. We're not blowing that out.
Thermal
Now, what
shock.
these guys,
Driving it
my
off.
background obviously not in cars. I'm a radio guy, but Frank's taught me a lot. But go back to those old classic cars that used to run on regular gasoline, and then what's the difference between that regular and then unleaded? Now, I mean, you can't get regular anymore, can you?
No.
No, because it had lead in it. You can't
Right.
get leaded gasoline anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, everything.
So how did
everything
it-
had lead back then.
What did all
The
those
lead
cars?
was
Those
there.
cars could still be used with leaded gasoline,
They can.
with unleaded gasoline.
You have to do some mechanical fixes. You have
Okay.
to change the
Yeah.
valve seats out and whatnot. But yes, you
valve
can.
seats? Right.
All right,
Yeah.
before we go to more of Mechanic in the Bottle, I did get a text from a guy named Joel. He has a car with 70,000 miles.
Right.
He wants to know if a dealer wants to flush all the fluids for around $500, power steering, brakes, transmission, and coolant system. He got a second quote from another one for $650. Why is it so much? It has 70,000 miles on it. The last time it was changed was 30 to 40,000 miles.
Yeah, so I mean, I think they're spot on the interval. Typically at that 60,000, really that 30, 60, 90, 100K. That's when we're going to dance with what I call the teeth cleaning, right? It's cheaper to go to the flushes than replace hardware components that are worn.
Okay.
Now listen, as far as cost, Joel, be careful. You're going to find variables. Let's just face it. I'm not going to sit here and represent to you, Joel, that this shop is charging this much and that shop is charging that much. You should have a certain variable, but not out to lunch. If someone else comes back and says, let's say you're getting a 650 to 700,
Right.
maybe a 6 to 700 range. That seems to be about average. My steak cost me $18 on average, 16 to $20.
Okay.
Guy wants to charge me $9 for a steak. Something wrong with the steak, or the other.
No,
$60
sure.
for a steak. You see what I'm saying? So Joel,
Right.
be careful. Develop a relationship. You know how we preach here on Wrench Nation. Ask those questions. What's my warranty? Now, a lot of these, you mentioned the Justice Brothers. BG is another brand.
Right.
A lot of these companies that supply us here in the automotive market, they're going to give us a deep warranty so we can pass on to the consumer. Now, what does that include? Sometimes you get a package, you can get towing taken care of.
Sure.
If you have breakdowns. So this is now becoming a roadside package. So Joel, look into the roadside, look into the extra benefits that they may be giving you. A lot of aftermarket garages, and of course you can reach us on Facebook or Twitter, or just give us a
But by doing these flushes, how much could that save me down the line on something I may have to replace if I don't do it?
Steve, handle this one,
If-
Ralph. Yeah.
if-
Thousands.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I can't tell you how many people have that will come and change their oil, and as soon as I mention change the transmission fluid,
Right.
they'll say, well, the owner's manual, if they actually read it, says 100,000. But out here in the desert, as most of America, it's severe service,
Yeah.
which is 30,000. That's
Sure.
a big
Right.
stretch.
Sure, because of the heat.
And
Look,
that's a minimalistic approach by the owner's manual.
Think about it. I'm going to go back to the dentist, and Ralph is going to chime in a minute.
Yep.
Go back to the dentist.
Okay.
If I'm a guy that eats 8 cheeseburgers a day,
Me.
I'm going to be brushing my teeth a lot more frequently.
Okay.
Come on, I've got to
Maybe
get
I
an
should.
applause for. I mean, I don't want to sound goofy, but it's really common sense, and it's all about maintaining your car based upon the actual need and the severe duty climate. And Ralph, you know, I mean, you've got expensive projects with these muscle cars. You're on it.
And maintenance is way cheaper than
Yeah,
repair.
it is.
Definitely.
Way cheaper.
So you guys know we're not trying to preach, but at the end of the day, man, it does save you more money down the road. Now, Joel just called in, and you know he was just quoted the 600 to 700. The number 2 thing I always tell folks, you know, other than definitely develop a relationship, ask those right questions. Number 2, ask your mechanic, ask her or him, hey, what's my plan? Can I come back in 2 months? And I repeat it, we go by a 3-tiered structure. Most great garages.
Right, because maybe you can't afford
Number
$700
one,
right now.
I want to know about safety. Is it unsafe? I got to do something today.
Right.
I want to know about major mechanical. Could it cost me more money later? So perhaps I've got a belt that needs to be replaced. If that flies off, that's costing me tow and may cost me other damage to my vehicle. And number 3, as Joel just called in for, is that teeth cleaning maintenance. You can't deny it. You can't put it off. But now that changes the level of priority. Definitely.
We're going to be back with more Wrench Nation here on 88.7 The Pulse. Don't go anywhere. Text the word wrench to 480-655-8870. Your chance to win that $100 gift card coming up.